Well, hello, this is Pastor Mike Thompson, and I wanted to let you know about a class that I'm very excited about. There's a new course that we're going to do that's free to anyone who wants to join. And so this class is a leadership class for anyone who's in church leadership or who leads a nonprofit organization. And so let me just run it through with you a little bit. And I'm going to pull up a few slides here and just share with you this opportunity. It's Introduction to Christian Leadership. It's Introduction to Leadership, I'm sorry, for Christian leaders. Okay, so we're touching on leadership principles. We're introducing you to them, and it's for Christian leaders. Here's some course information that you want to know. There is an organizational meeting Tuesday, July 21st, 6 o'clock p.m. So that's a week from tomorrow. Where is it at? Spider Lake Main Street campus, Spider Lake Church Main Street, and that's downtown Hayward. It's on Main Street, so just go Main Street and keep going north, 4 blocks up, and you'll see it on the left-hand side. Used to be the Congregational Church, great big church on the left-hand side, and that's where we're having the organizational meeting. So you can come find out more about it and ask questions. Now, if there's a request for it, we can make a copy of the meeting and Zoom the meeting if you'd like, or just make a video copy and present it on my Facebook site. And so classes begin. The first class is going to be August 4th, 6 p.m. and every week we'll meet. And it's going to be through Zoom meeting online. And so if you don't have a Zoom account, all you have to do is go to zoom.us, sign up for a free account, and then I send you an email. You click on the link, and pow, you're up, and we can see each other. And I expect there probably will be a pretty big turnout. So you'll probably see 15 other people or so on the screen as they talk. Their face will come up and so forth. And I'll also be able to show you content like I'm showing you right now because I'm using the Zoom format to record this session so you can see how it looks when we're teaching a class. More course information. How do you sign up? You send me an email with your name, contact information to this email address. And if you want to pause this, you can to get the email address, matminconsult@gmail.com, M-A-T-M-I-N consult@gmail.com. This course is scheduled for 10 weeks. They're 1-hour session. Now we might go over by 15 minutes or so, but I'm really going to try to keep it to an hour. So that means you're going to have to do the work ahead of time. I'm going to send you videos to watch them. And what I want to do is have a discussion so that when you engage and come online, I can ask you questions about the video and so forth, and then we'll have a discussion and learn from each other. So that's how this is designed. Also, there are materials which are free at pastormikethompson.org. What a cool website that is. I can't believe it was available. So pastormikethompson.org, and I have all kinds of resources there, and I will show you that website at the end of this presentation. You'll also have to purchase Leadership in Christian Perspective by Dr. Irving, one of my professors who, what an incredible man of God and a professor who taught me much about transformational leadership and other things that you will learn about. So you're getting the benefit of his instruction to me. And so each live session from Zoom will be recorded, and we'll put it in a Facebook group that's created for this course. So every course will be numbered lesson 1 and so forth through 10, and you click on it and you can watch it to review it and just kind of absorb the material. Or if you miss a session, you'll be able to catch up that way. A lot of people do that when they can't make a week. Now, if you sign up for the course, you'll be sent a link to the Facebook group. And so I'll give the invitation to the Facebook group by email. If you don't use Facebook, maybe you can get a Facebook account and just don't read all the garbage that's there every day and just use it for this course. And you can even get rid of it after the course, or just don't use it unless there's a course you want to take, because that's a very good tool. And then this course is designed for pastors and leaders of nonprofit organizations and anyone who's leading a ministry. So if you're in a church and you lead a worship ministry, or adult education or anything, and you want an introduction to some leadership principles that might help you grow in your process, your career, and so forth. If you want to grow in your knowledge and skills, this is a class for you. And now if you're not involved in leadership in any capacity, past or present, you're going to need a pastoral reference form, because I really want people who are going to be engaged in leadership. This is for people who have been called to leadership by God. Now, what are we going to cover? Now, this is where it gets exciting. We're going to talk about leadership approaches over the last 100 years. Now, you're going to be surprised by some of the leadership approaches, or maybe you won't, but that were used like 125 years ago, where people were thought of as machines, and employers weren't even interested in their brains. They just wanted their hands and no back talk. And they could afford to be that way because jobs are hard to come by. And so there was one boss, there was no input from employees, and the boss was the authoritarian, and that's all there is to it. And so since then, there's been several leadership approaches which are very, very powerful and very motivating and really produce loyalty. And so self-leadership and authentic leadership is going to be the first subject that we cover. So leadership approaches, we'll cover that first, and then we'll cover self-leadership and authentic leadership. So becoming a leader begins by leading ourselves, by being an example for others. And so if we can't lead ourselves, how are we supposed to lead anyone else? And then there's two leadership approaches that have been effective in transforming leaders and organizations from my experience and from the experience of many. And they have a solid application for church and nonprofit leaders. And so these two approaches are transformational leadership. That is, how do you transform people, future leaders, and organizations by managing a vision that's compelling and motivating to people, and servant leadership. How do you think of the people who work for you as people that Christ has called you to serve? And by doing that, creating an atmosphere that's fantastic to work in and engenders loyalty. Sometimes if people need to overperform or stay late, they'll do it because there's this environment where you're the servant and you serve them and they want to serve you. And so this reciprocal relationship can begin. And so these two approaches, transformational and servant leadership, are two approaches that I'll introduce you to. And then if you want more, we'll get you some more reading at the end of the course to follow up with for a little advanced work. And then lastly, we'll cover an approach to evaluate your church or nonprofit using 4 different lenses or frames. And this is from Bowman and Deal's work called 4 Frames. And I think you'll really like this because it allows you to look with different lenses at your organization, at your church. And I think you'll see something that maybe you would have missed without trying on the different lenses. So everyone wants to evaluate both themselves, their staff and how they're staffed, and also their organization from 4 different vantage points. And that's how I designed an organizational assessment that I use in my consulting work. So what do you remember? Remember this: organizational meeting Tuesday, 6 p.m., Spider Lake Church on Main Street in Hayward. And secondly, send me an email with questions or let me know that you're signing up for the course. And make sure you include your contact information. If you just send me an email and your name isn't part of your email address, I won't know who you are. So send your name, maybe a phone number, and your email address and who you are, and maybe where you're from. And then purchase Leadership and Christian Perspective by Dr. Irving. That is a book you will not be sorry that you purchased. There may be some chapters that are harder to relate to, but the first 3 chapters we're really going to go through in detail that talk about self-leadership. Fantastic stuff. It's one of the best books of a Christian perspective of leadership and biblical approach to leadership that I've seen. And then check out my teaching website. And that's pastormikethompson.org. And in fact, I will show you that website right now before we bust out of here. And so let me just pull this up. Here's my teaching website. And I have all kinds of information on here. And so there are facilitating skills, there's sermon series, full text I've done, theological teachings, first steps for new Christians, church history, all kinds of stuff here that you will really like. But this button right here, you're going to want to pay attention to, the cohort assignments. That's where all our stuff is going to be. So if you need an assignment, this is where it'll be, the cohort button on pastormikethompson.org. And so you see the drop-down box here? So as soon as I put the cursor over cohort assignments, there's a Healthy Leadership Summit. We're going to use some of this material in this Healthy Leadership Summit. And there's several lessons, and I think we'll dig into one or two lessons here. This is something I wrote in my doctoral work. And so that's the drop-down box and the cohort assignments. Now, if you click cohort assignments, you get all the courses we've done recently. We've done an assessment course, 4 weeks in assessing who you are, what your giftedness is, what temperament you have, and so forth. And then we have a church history course that's both an advanced and a beginner course, full text. And then we have Bible study tools and methods. We have 2 weeks to finish up video in that course. And then we'll have, I think it's 12 weeks. And that's in a Facebook group now that you can watch almost all the lessons. If you want that, send me an email. I'll send you a link to that Facebook group where you can do Bible study tools and hermeneutics. And so this is how to interpret the Bible and what tools I use as a pastor to study Scripture. Fantastic course for anyone in church leadership. And so that's available right now. And we just had to film 2 more sessions and kind of backfill what we didn't get. And then we have a New in Christ course. If you know someone who's brand new to the faith, there's excellent principles here about how you become a Christian, lessons on baptism, communion, normal patterns for new Christians, how you communicate with God, all the stuff you'd want to teach someone in the first year of them being a Christian. And then this servant leadership button here, this is where I'm going to populate the whole course. I'm not sure I'll call it servant leadership. I may just call it Christian leadership and change this button. But this is where it'll be. So all the lessons, I give you the teaching guide. And so I just tell you to study the questions I'm going to ask you and then the following chapter. So it's all there. You don't have to guess what questions I'm going to ask. And so I'm developing that now. I'm more than halfway done. That'll be posted probably at the end of this week. And so you'll be able to look at the teaching guide, and I hope you can use this in other contexts. My goal is to give away as much information and empower as many people as I can. I've had experiences of teaching over my life, and I just want to multiply leaders. I want to multiply teachers, preachers. And so anything that I know, my blessing is in seeing other people run with the skills I have the blessing of giving them and giving away. So if you see things on this website anywhere, my prayer is you use it. Just drop me a note and say, hey, I was able to use this, and that'll be a blessing to me. So this is where you look, pastormikethompson.org, under the cohort assignments, and this will be populated soon. So with that said, God bless you. I can't wait to hear from you. I can't wait for this class. I am stoked, and the organizational meeting is just a week and a day away. And so I hope to see you there. And if you want to Zoom into that meeting or watch a video of it, let me know, and I'll make an option available for you. All right. God bless you, dear people. And I look forward to hearing from you soon.